I'm an actor playing the part of an IT guy. I started working in tech because being an actor was not paying the bills.
Oh.
So I made up a resume that was 100% a lie, and I got a job at a casting company and just taught myself using Google.
Wow.
That's all I did. That's
well, you fooled them, so I guess they hired you.
Exactly. That's the joke, is that imposter syndrome hits different when you're actually an imposter, okay? Yeah. You all visiting from out of town?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. Where are you visiting from?
Dallas.
Dallas, cool.
Yeah. I guess I'm technically coming from Wisconsin, but I'm just there for an internship.
Ah, I see. Okay. But you're all from Dallas originally?
Yeah. Not exactly.
We all study in Dallas.
We just finished our semester in Dallas.
Ah,
and,
okay.
Yeah, that was like a month ago, I guess.
Okay.
I guess we're from all over the place.
From all over the place. I see.
Are you from Chicago?
I am from California, actually.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
He's from California.
Oh, yeah, we're in California.
Los Angeles.
This is a 323 phone number, and I'm never going to give it up.
Oh.
Yeah, ever. Like, yeah, I'm only here because my daughter's mom was from here, and after we split up, she moved here with my daughter.
Oh, yeah.
So I've got like 7 more years, and then I'm back in LA.
And then going back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's way too cold. Way too cold out here.
You don't like the snow?
No.
Okay.
No, I can't stand it.
Yeah.
The first time I saw it was when I moved here, and I was like, I'm not okay with
Not
this.
it. No, yeah, fair enough.
I tell people I have not acclimated. I just have snow-induced PTSD. Like, I shut down when I see it.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah.
Saw my first, like, I guess it's not really snow, but like, I guess it did snow, just not a lot. But that was in Dallas.
Oh, wow, okay.
Very briefly, yeah.
You know, Dallas has an In-N-Out burger.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, they do? Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I went there, and they have, In-N-Out burger, and they also have, from here, Andy's frozen custard. They also have one of those out there.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay. I haven't had that. Is that like a Midwest thing?
It is a Midwest thing, and it's delicious. Yeah.
Okay, I have to check that out.
Yeah, it's definitely worth going.
It's just ice cream, I assume.
Frozen custard. You know?
Yeah.
But yeah, it became trendy. Like, people were like, oh, you know, it went ice cream, then frozen yogurt, and then now it's frozen custard was the hot button item, I guess. But nice. Andy's is really good. They're really good food. That's what I like about them. Okay. Yeah, I actually went out to Dallas Fort Worth from here, and I was like, oh, this feels like just a hot suburbs of Chicago.
Yeah, it's hot.
Yeah.
Definitely hot. That's for sure. Especially during the summer.
Oh yeah, but like if you ever cruise around like the West Burbs over here, it's exactly like
really
it's exactly the same.
Oh wow.
Yeah, you're just like, oh, I didn't even leave. It's just hotter. Okay, cool.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's the same. It's really interesting.
I was gonna say Dallas is like really far spread out, so I was just like, I didn't know Chicago was like that too.
Yeah, where was I? I was in where the medical district is. Right, so I was there. I was trying to remember. It was like a bunch of little microbrews and like there's some fried chicken spot that I went to. So, and I was like, okay, cool. Like, yeah, but it was like, but then I cruised around a ton. I love barbecue, so I went to try all the barbecue that I could find. Yeah. So that was cool. But it really is, like I said, like if you just go further out that way, go to like Oak Brook, you won't be able to tell the difference. It's the same. The houses look the same, the structure looks the same, they have a bunch of like space and everything. It's just like it's just like it, yeah.
That is interesting.
Yeah.
I think that's what I like about LA, at least. I don't know, there's different, I feel like in Dallas a lot of the houses look very similar in different like suburbs.
Oh yeah, for sure. Oh yeah, it's tract housing out there. It's tract housing in Dallas. But yeah, in LA you get the bungalows, the beach houses.
Yeah, like
it's
everything.
All older, it seems more vintage when you get into it.
Yeah.
Are you all studying the same thing?
No, just me and Matt over here studying
okay.
computer science.
Computer science?
Yeah. She's education.
Okay. I'm trying to teach these guys something eventually, right?
Yeah.
One day.
How's the computer science program in Dallas?
It's decent.
Okay.
Yeah, it's all right.
Okay.
I mean, like, I think depends on like how much effort you put into it.
Sure.
I guess it's like true with all college degrees, kind of. So yeah.
I did this when I lived in Silicon Valley. So when I'm not doing this 9 to 5, I'm a cloud infrastructure engineer.
Oh, really?
Right.
Interesting. Okay.
So I've talked to a lot of techie people, and I want to say I don't think I've ever once spoken to someone that said you don't use the computer science degree for anything. Like everything you're learning, you can just throw it away. It's 10 years old, and you're gonna get on Google, and you're gonna learn everything on Google.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it just depends. I feel like some things are useful, but like for the most part, if you're like any languages you're learning, like I feel like if you're just going there to learn a language, it's like not worth it. But
for sure.
If you're there to like understand, like I think understanding the lower levels of like how it all gets built up and how we abstract up is like kind of important.
Yeah, like compiling, right?
Yeah,
how does that actually
like the data
work?
structures and stuff like that. Like if you don't understand those, and like when you actually get hit with them, it's like, okay, I could choose any of them, and any of them would technically work, but like which one will be fastest, right? It's like it depends.
Yeah, and that's exactly it. That's what they said. It's like 70 to 80% you just don't need, but then there's like that little bit. Everything else you can get on Google. So that's good. But it's a great career. Do you want to stay in Texas, or do you want to like come up to here? Where do you see yourself going with your degrees?
Well, I haven't done an internship in Texas, so it's been everywhere else for the most part. Probably will not stay in Texas though.
Okay.
It's just very hot.
You like it a little cooler?
Yeah, usually not as hot.
Sure.
Wait, I'm interested though, because I mean, I haven't really worked with the cloud that much, but like, what's like, I guess like, what are your thoughts on like the kind of state right now for like where things are going, I guess?
Ooh, okay. Great question. So, the cloud is essentially infrastructure as a service, right?
Yeah.
All it is instead of using your own physical servers, you're using Microsoft servers.
Yeah.
You're not using your data centers, it's Microsoft's data centers.
Okay.
So that's all. And it's cool. You can do stuff because it's aggregated infrastructure. It's just servers that are huge that most companies aren't going to pay for. Microsoft is going to actually have the horsepower to do something strong. AWS, GCP, right? Google, they're all going to they've got the money to actually throw behind giving you super fast CPUs, a boatload of memory, attached storage that's like hyper speed, SSD type stuff. And that's cool. I have a gearhead mentality. I grew up fixing up old muscle cars, so I'm all about how much horsepower can I get out of this thing? I like that.
Yeah.
But also, if you know how to create the software, if you know how to build the OS or Dockerize and containerize an application, you don't need the computer. You can just feed it the resources that it needs anyways.
Yeah, I've heard about that part. Like, I've used Docker a little bit, so they're just like, you can create like your own container for something, and and then just have that, use that.
And it's just the application. All that developing that you're going to do, the code is going to have a virtual CPU, which is the Dockerized version of it. And if it needs a database, well, you can spin up a database. You don't need a whole server for it anymore. You don't need a virtual server. It's just a standalone database that's a piece of the Azure, AWS, or Google version of one. So that's really cool. I think the trends we're seeing are what we're going to continue to see, which is people can say we don't need as much anymore. We just need this to perform in this fashion, and that's going to work really great. Or sometimes you'll need virtual networks, you'll need virtual machines because you've got 1,000 employees and they've got file shares they've got to get to and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So I think the use cases are going to continue to be the same as far as all of that goes on the infrastructure side of technology.
Okay.
AI, all that, of course, is a bubble that's very quickly bursting.
Yeah.
Which I was waiting for. So it's like, okay, cool, that's happening. That's not affecting what I do very much. All that's doing is there's the people that you can tell went to ChatGPT and said, give me some code to deploy servers.
Oh, yeah.
And then there's the people who actually know how to do it.
Yeah.
So those are two very different ones. But that's about the extent of AI's infiltration on what I do specifically.
Okay.
Yeah, and it's the ChatGPT version versus the non-ChatGPT. It's not much of a difference. It's just one works, one doesn't.
Okay. Yeah, I was gonna say because I feel like there are interesting use cases for it, but for a lot of things that I've seen, it's like some of them can be, I don't know, they're just very like not. I guess like they seem cool, but it's like, how useful is it? Like really, like.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, or like it's just like a ChatGPT wrapper kind of thing.
Yeah, exactly. And that's it. It's like, okay, what's the extent of what can it actually do? But this is where I love, I mean, if you can get into programming and it's something you can do, if you like computer science, there's a career in that's going to continue. Even if we were to do nothing new or different or innovative,
yeah,
the government is so far behind.
Oh, I know. Yeah.
That you've got 60 years.
There's a lot
of
of tech that needs to be like.
All of it.
Yeah.
All of it. These guys are having me maintain servers that are 20 years out of date.
Yeah.
So like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
People
Microsoft.
using like Fortran and stuff like that.
Yes.
For old servers
Old
that
stuff.
need to be like
Yes.
converted or like they're still maintaining them. So.
Yeah, we're talking stuff that's running server 2003, which is like not supposed to be in use, but it's there.
Yeah.
And this is like the federal government. So
yeah.
I'll just say I've worked for a lot of 3-letter organizations, and they're all bad. They're all their technology is the worst. The good tech is in bleeding edge private sector. That's where the good tech is, by the way. Everything else is behind. But that's great. You have a career. You can be programmers. You can just do that. And like, if you just want to punch a clock, get paid, and not think about work outside of work, there's a ton of stuff you can do. If you want to create a piece of code, you want to really make something that designs something really innovative, there's definitely room for that. You're going to lose sleep, but you could definitely do it.
Yeah. No, that's fair. Yeah, definitely.
But it's still a great field to get into, just because there's so much you can do. There's so much you can do.
Yeah. I just wonder about things for the cloud, because I mean, I've looked at it a little bit, not like so much, but it just seems like super complicated. So I feel like, I don't know, like are there like tools out there to like help you with stuff like that, or like for guides, I guess? Like, I don't know, because it just seems really like there's a lot of jargon, I guess, on one hand, right? And then on the second hand, it's like also just very complicated because it has to do with like scaling stuff. So
yeah,
like most of the stuff that I've worked with are usually like pretty, singular, not like,
yeah,
you start like having to allocate a bunch of resources for different things and whatnot, and like how to provision all that kind of stuff.
Right, you create data sets, and then from there you have an auto scale, and then the auto scale is what that's going to do.
Like, I understand like SQL stuff, but then like when it comes to like, all the, I guess, other things that are related to like actual like creating new instances, or I understand threading stuff, but I don't know if it's like similar or how that all works.
Oh yeah, so and this is where it really just is what flavor of cloud you're doing, because the cloud itself isn't that fancy. It isn't fancy to me because I've worked for companies that had their own private cloud that they were hosting.
Oh, yeah.
And then I go and I see it and I'm like, oh, these are just Dell R60s with a bunch of blade servers in them. This isn't anything. It's not like there's no fancy tech going on. It's just a computer. That's all. And so you have Azure's cloud, Google's cloud, AWS's cloud. It's just their cloud. So what you want to do is you're going to go, okay, I want to make a new server. I need, what's a server? Well, it's memory, it's CPU, and it's storage. Like, that's a computer. That's all it's really doing.
Yeah.
Motherboards, all those stuff just connects those things together. It's going to have an IP address, so that's networking. Okay, cool. So AWS, GCP, and Google or Azure all have those. They all have those built in. They have their own name for it. That's what it is. So you have DNS in Azure, but it's called Route 53 in AWS. Why? I don't know. But they do the same thing. It's just what AWS wants to call DNS. So learn one. Once you learn one,
then you
just know the names.
Okay.
Yeah,
It's just like different names.
Exactly, and it's just like programming where okay, I'm going to call this and move this, and I have this script as a function, right? Right? That's all you're doing is you're putting in, it's either DNS or Route 53, but they're both doing the same thing.
Okay.
And that's it. And it's not that fancy. It's really not. And this is, I guess, what you're still new in your education, so you haven't got to this conclusion yet. But the conclusion I came to about year 3 or 4 is that this is all profoundly dumb. It's way dumber than I thought it was, actually. It's just 0 and 1. It's just yes and no. That's it.
Oh, like, and then underneath?
All of it. GPS, right? This is just a 0 and 1 map on, like, is it this the path or not? It's all yes or no. It's so simply basic and dumb. Yeah. And it has to be, because it wouldn't function without it. We don't have...
Well, like, at the very base level, it's just like zeros and ones.
Yeah, we don't have quantum computing yet, so it's just 0 or 1. That's it. Everything is that basic and dumb, really. It has to be, or it won't work.
Yeah.
So that lets you can kind of take it easy on learning that stuff. And if you go, it's not that big a deal, you'll absorb it very quickly.
Yeah.
And you can learn everything I've learned on YouTube. That's where I learned it from.
Oh,
so, yes. Because that's the real trick. I tell people, I have a routine I'm working on, a comedy routine. I'm an actor playing the part of an IT guy. I started working in tech because being an actor was not paying the bills.
Oh.
So I made up a resume that was 100% a lie, and I got a job at a casting company and just taught myself using Google.
Wow.
That's all I did. That's
well,
it.
You fooled them, so I guess they hired you as
exactly. That's the joke, is that imposter syndrome hits different when you're actually an imposter, okay? Yeah. So that's what I'm at. So that's what I was doing. But like now I've been doing this for 17 years.
Yeah.
So sometimes I know what I'm talking about, but if I do, that's when I get a new better paying job that I don't know how to do. Teach myself how to do it and then do it. But
And
that's
it's pretty straightforward, yeah.
And you can do that. Google Academy. That's it. That's all you need. YouTube Academy. It'll get you everything you need to know. Everything you need to know.
Yeah, that sounds good.
Yeah.
Sounds useful.
Yeah, just quit school. Just drop out. You should just stop.
Yeah, just things to think about. I think, I don't know. Some of my friends are thinking about doing a startup kind of thing.
Sure. Those are fun. They can be fun.
Yeah.
Startups, all you need is one to hit and you're a millionaire. All you need is one idea, make one little startup and you just get it to hit and you're fine, you're good. Just sell it to Google, you're good. So
yeah,
that's nice. Yeah, that's nice. That's why I was like, I wish I had the brain for programming. I'm not meticulous enough to do it. That's my problem. I have zero focus.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah, zero focus and attention, no attention to detail.
Yeah.
If I can't lie my way through it, I can't get through it.
Yeah, I feel like I got two modes. I'm either like super, like have everything in my head, like all the details are in there, or I'm just like completely like designing something and there's nothing. I mean, it's just like all like laid out and I'm thinking about it, but it's not like, yeah.
Oh yeah, yeah. And that's the thing too, is like learning how you work is like, that's what you're actually going to spend the next 10 years doing, is like trying to do a job, trying to do the thing, or doing it and succeeding at it, sure, maybe, but you're just like, at the end of it, you turn 30 and you go, oh man, I was just like by the skin of my teeth surviving for the last 10 years. I should go to therapy now. So like that's the stuff, that's really when you actually get into it. The career, all that stuff ends up being fairly easy. But it's just learning, how do you work, what do you need, how much vacation time do you need, time off, all that stuff.
Yeah.
Which is the fundamentally important stuff, really.
Yeah.
These guys are recruiting me. Lifeway, they just got bought by Coca-Cola, so they're trying to get me to work and do their cloud infrastructure to migrate it to Coke.
Oh, wow. Yeah, I feel
milk
like...
company. They sell milk.
Oh, milk. That's such a random thing, but yeah,
Right?
I guess you got it.
Yeah.
It's easier that way. You don't have to store all the stuff on your own servers.
Exactly.
Yeah. I don't know. It'll be interesting. I'm just kind of like, all the work stuff is just like things I'm interested in doing right now.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like it's just one aspect. Like there's just other things also outside of that that's nice.
Exactly. That turns out you live life 24/7. So you can't just do all work at that. You have to like be a person the whole time.
Yeah.
That ends up being very complex and involved.
That's a good question. Wait, do you know what makes a pizza deep dish?
Yes. The dish is deep.
Okay.
So what that is so you have like a regular pizza that's like thin with a crust around it. A deep dish is a pan that's like this thick that they fill with stuff.
Oh, okay.
So it's like a deep.
It's like a pie.
Yeah, it's like
a pie. Okay,
yeah,
interesting.
Exactly. Where are you looking at for deep dish?
What's it called again? Pequods or something?
Pequods.
Yeah,
Okay,
I think
cool.
that's where we're headed to right now.
You're definitely not heading to Pequods unless you're heading to a different.
Yeah, there's another one.
Oh,
I think. There's a
they
second
did.
one. Yeah.
I did not know they did that. Okay.
Yeah, it was closer to the one that is downtown.
So the Pequods is good, but Pequods is a Detroit style pizza. It's not a Chicago style.
Wait, I've been bamboozled.
It is one of the better pizzas in Chicago. Don't get me wrong.
Oh, okay.
But
So what's
it's
Chicago style?
Chicago style. Your number 1 and 2 places that most people are gonna know are Pizzeria Uno and Lou Malnati's. Here's what's cool.
Oh, Lou Malnati's.
So Pizzeria Uno is where the deep dish pizza was invented. That's where it
Really?
became a thing.
Wow.
But it was invented by, you guessed it, Lou Malnati. So
Wait, what? I'm confused.
Lou Malnati.
Oh, like the person?
That's his name, Lou
Okay.
Malnati, and he opened his own pizza place called Lou Malnati's.
Oh, wow.
See, so those are going to be your number 1. The other place people go to is Giordano's. That's another
there
very
it is.
popular deep dish pie place. And here's the thing, as far as deep dish goes for Chicagoans, like, we don't eat pizza like that all the time. A deep dish pizza you eat once or twice a year if your arteries allow it.
Oh, okay.
Okay, we like thin crust pizza. That's the usual. That's the one that people really like.
Gotcha.
But yeah, where are you going here? Pequod's, Lou Malnati's, really, really great food.
Okay, nice. Yeah.
But again, you're gonna eat Pequod's and you're gonna be like, I'm done for today, I think.
Okay, good to know. Yeah, my friend he's from Chicago, one of the people I'm interning with, and he was like, yeah, you should go to Pequod's. So I was like,
Pequod's is, I think it's back there, so I'm gonna see what this is. Okay, I'll flip around. Yeah, it's, yeah, and again, people that are from Chicago, they love Pequod's. It's really good because it is that, they do this, cheese layer on the crust that the way they bake it gets all crispy and like caramelized. It's like really
that
good.
sounds good.
And that's the Detroit style crust. There's 2 Detroit style places that I like in Chicago. Pequod's is one, and then the other one is up on the north side of Chicago called Fat Chris's Pizza and such.
Oh, okay. Interesting.
And they obviously advertise being fat, so like good food.
Yeah. I don't know, this is my first time being in Chicago, so it seems...
Well, are you gonna actually go to Chicago? Because you're in Morton Grove right now.
We're gonna go into into downtown. I mean, just like
Great.
Chicago suburban, or the greater Chicago region.
So how long are you in Chicago for?
I'll be here for 1 day.
Okay.
But it's close to Madison, Wisconsin, so it's not too bad.
It's not far. You're right. It's like a 3-hour drive. But the stuff to do in Chicago, if you're downtown Chicago, there's Miracle Mile. There's the Chicago Architecture Tour. There's the Bean, but that's still being cleaned out.
Oh, the Bean,
so,
yeah.
Right, you can't go to that. There's 3 museums. There's the Museum of Modern Art, which was in that Ferris Bueller's Day Off movie. There's the aquarium, and there's the Science Museum, and the Museum of History, and the Museum of Science and Industry. All really, really great times, all right near downtown.
Okay.
I hope y'all enjoy your time here.
Yeah,
and
thank you.
Pizza.
Thank you. All right, have a good day.
You too, babe.